disorder, and I'm starting with it right now. Okay, yeah. Maybe you have had the experience of driving on autopilot. One minute you got in your car, and the next minute you have arrived at your destination, but you can't actually remember the details of the drive. This is an example of normal everyday dissociation. This term describes a mental state of disconnection from what is going on around you. Normally, this dreamy state doesn't last very long, and most people can snap out of it if sometime or someone require their attention. But for some people, dissociation is more pervasive and can't be turned off so easily. In fact, the feeling of disconnection may become so intense and happen so often that it stops a person from functioning in their daily life. And when this is the case, when then we say the person has a dissociative disorder. Okay. Dissociative disorders are a group disorder that cause an impaired awareness of your own actions, thoughts, physical sensation, and even identity, which is a sense of who you are. Dissociative disorders tend to stem from trauma, usually early childhood abuse or neglect, and are thought to be a way of adapting to negative feelings and experiences. Dissociative disorders are divided into three main types. First is depersonalization or derealization disorder. Second one is dissociative amnesia. Third one is dissociative identity disorder. Each of these disorders falls along a spectrum of severity, with depersonalization or derealization disorder being the least severe end of the dissociative disorder, dissociative amnesia falling somewhere in the middle, and dissociative identity disorder being the most severe. Typically, individual with more severe dissociative disorder may have elements of less severe ones. Of less severe ones as well. With depersonalization or derealization disorder, depersonalization refers to a feeling of detachment from oneself, while derealization refers to a feeling that the world around you isn't fully real. Those with those with the disorder often feel as if they are watching themselves from outside, maybe watching a movie about their life. They might feel emotionally or physically numb or have a weak sense of self. Individual with depersonalization or derealization disorder might speak in deadpan manner with little emotion and have trouble forming relationship. In severe cases, a person may have trouble recognizing familiar places, people, or objects, and this can make it hard to learn new tasks. Other symptoms include an altered sense of time where things seem to move too fast or slow, brain fog or lightheadedness, and being prone to rumination and anxiety. Next comes dissociative amnesia. So basically, dissociative amnesia is when a person blocks out or forgets important personal information that most people would remember for a lifetime, like where they lived as a child or how their mother looked like. Now, dissociative amnesia can be divided into four types. First one is localized, second is generalized, third is systematized, and fourth is continuous. Now we are starting with localized. Okay, yeah. So, in localized, most people with dissociative amnesia have localized amnesia, meaning they have trouble recalling a traumatic event. Sometimes the memory loss is broader and includes months or years surrounding the events. Second is generalized amnesia. It's a case is where a person can't remember any of their past, even non-traumatic path. Or the onset of the generalized amnesia can be sudden stress induced and may be accompanied by dissociative fugue, meaning of a temporary period of disorientation and wandering or travel. In a fugue state, a person may be confused who they are, or they may believe that there is something else. They may also temporarily lose deeply ingrained skills. For example, a computer engineer may forget how to use a laptop. Next one is in systematic amnesia. In systematic amnesia, a person only forget a category of information which is in some way associated with the trauma, like forgetting everything about a certain person or a specific location, even if it was a significant part of their life. And finally, continuous amnesia happens when a person forget each new event after it happens and retains nothing but the present moment, a bit like the fish story in the film Finding Nemo. And continuous amnesia doesn't always relate back to psychological traumas. The third type of dissociative disorder is dissociative identity disorder, which used to be called as multiple personality disorder. Dissociative identity disorder can be broken down into two types. First one is covert dissociative identity disorder, and second is overt dissociative identity disorder. By far, the most common type of covert dissociative identity disorder occurs when a person experiences sudden and dramatic shifts in the way they perceive, think, or feel, as if they have taken on characteristics of a different person. Or some people with covert may hear that the person voice and feel that it is speaking to them. Those with covert dissociative identity disorder are usually aware that their expiry is unusual and may feel disoriented and powerless to understand their moods and behavior. On the other hand, those with over dissociative identity disorder outright assume two or more distinct identities, sometimes called personalities or alters. The identities are distinct because they tend to talk and act differently than the original person. They may have opposing tastes or political views, be it different ages, gender, or nationalities. These alternate identities completely take a person's body in mind, suppressing all other identities temporarily. Those are over dissociative identity. Okay, so the over dissociative identity disorder aren't always aware that this is happening, are not always aware that this is happening, and may report forgetting whole portion of their day. They might they may find groceries that they can't recall buying, while discover injuries to their body that they can't recall getting. And it's not unusual for some people to have a period of fugue and suddenly find themselves in a different town or city. Having over dissociative identity disorder can potentially endanger the person, especially if one's identity engages in self mutilation or risky behavior. The prevalence of suicide among those as the condition is very high, almost three-fourths attempting suicide at least once in their life. Criteria for a dissociative identity disorder (DID) diagnosis are defined in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorder 5th edition, which is DSM-5. The DSM-5 is what doctors use as an authoritative reference when diagnosing the patients with dissociative identity disorder. There are 5 DSM criteria for dissociative identity disorder. Criteria for dissociative identity disorder in the DSM-5 are: the first DID criteria is, basically these are the criteria on which we decide that the person is suffering from DID or not. Okay, if yes, then if it follows the following criteria, then we can say that yes, the person is suffering from DID, otherwise not. Okay, yeah, let me start. The first DID criteria is: two or more distinct identities or personalities states are present, each with its own relatively enduring pattern of perceiving, relating to, and thinking about the environment and the self. According to the DSM 5, the personality states may be seen as an experience of possession. These states involve a marked discontinuity in sense of self and sense of agency, accompanied by related alteration in affect, behavior, consciousness, memory, perception, cognitive and or sensory motor functioning. These signs and symptoms may be observed by others or reported by the individual. One important change from the 4th to the 5th edition of the DSM is that the individuals may now report their perception of personality shift rather than limiting diagnosis to shifts that other must report. The second dissociative identity disorder criteria in DSM 5 is amnesia must occur, defined as gaps in the recall of everyday events, important personal information, and or traumatic events. Dissociative amnesia, which is deeply buried memories. This criteria for DID newly recognize that amnesia does not just occur or for traumatic events but rather everyday events too. The person must be distressed by the disorder or have trouble functioning in one or more major life areas because of the disorder. This criteria is common among all serious mental illness. Diagnosis as a diagnosis is not appropriate where the symptoms do not create distress or trouble functioning. Fourth one is that disturbance is not part of normal culture or religious practices. This DID criterion is to eliminate the diagnosis in cultures or situation where multiplicity is appropriate. An example of this is in children where an imaginary friend is not necessarily indicative of mental illness. The symptoms are not due to the direct physiological effects of a substance such as blackout or chaotic behavior during alcohol intoxication or a general medical condition such as complex partial seizure. The characteristic of a dissociative identity disorder is important as a substance abuse or another medical condition is more appropriate to diagnose when present than DID. Now comes diagnosis. Diagnosing dissociative disorder can be tricky, and some of the symptoms can be seen in substance intoxication okay, yeah, especially of hallucinogens, example LSD, and dissociative drugs like PCP and ketamine. Other causes include seizure, brain trauma, as well as chronic condition like dementia. Psychiatric conditions like anxiety disorder can cause an impaired sense of identity, time, and sensation, especially during panic attack. But these symptoms usually last minutes or hours, whereas the dissociative disorders symptoms can persist for years. Finally, bipolar disorder and schizophrenia also cause dramatic mood swings mimicking dissociative identity disorder. But while these depressive or euphoric moods can last for a week, the change in personality in dissociative identity disorder only lasts for minutes to hours each time. Now comes treatment. For treatment, treatment for dissociative disorder typically involves psychotherapy, so people can process the trauma safely. In the case of dissociative identity disorder, the goal of the therapy is to facilitate the fusion of identities where a person's personality states are integrated and the person feels more as a like a whole. Okay, so yeah.